I've journeyed to the western edge of mainland Africa to check out this vibrant capital of cool, stylish, and politically savvy, and as we'll see, these days a place that seems to be at the leading edge of change on the continent. I just arrived in Senegal and Dakar, and you realize how big Africa is when you fly from east to west entirely across Africa, and you can't fly any farther west than Dakar on the Atlantic Ocean. You fly all day. It's an all-day flying exercise that lasts 10 hours basically, including a stop in Abidjan on Côte d'Ivoire, Ivory Coast. And it's about 6,000 kilometers of flying. It's enormous. I've crossed Africa. First off, you've got a journey to make through this expanding city before you even reach the heart of Dakar. A French company built this freeway from the airport into town. It's 30 miles long, about 50 kilometers, and congested. There's also an express train that's being built out to the airport. Now, by vehicle, plan on about 90 minutes to central Dakar while getting a look at some of the new architecture, like the National Stadium. Dakar is home to Senegal's presidential palace, where you'll find one of Africa's youngest leaders, President Bassirou Diomaye Faye. The former tax official is trying to get the country's finances in order and attract investment while reshaping the relationship with its former colonial ruler, France, especially on the sensitive issue of military collaboration. Security is a serious concern with the intensity of violence next door in another place once ruled by the French, Mali, scene of a years-long insurgency by extremist Islamist militants, a crisis that triggered a coup in 2020 that toppled Mali's elected government. Senegal was France's beachhead in West Africa more than 3 centuries ago, the base for France's expansion eastward into the Chad Basin, and Senegal is still closely linked by culture and politics to France. When France granted independence to most of its colonies in Africa in 1960, it retained a crucial level of control over them. Not with soldiers, not with a big bureaucracy, but with this, the CFA franc, which is the currency of French West Africa, and remains so today, almost 80 years later. Now here's how it worked. The French government required those countries to keep a majority of their foreign currency reserves in a special account at the French Treasury, and France retained a say over their monetary policy, actually sat on the governing boards of their central bank in West Africa, which is based here in Dakar. Now, in exchange, those countries got a currency linked to the French franc, later to the euro in 1999, which gave them a measure of stability, but ultimately they had ceded control over their economies to France. In 2019, France rescinded the reserve requirement and said, okay, we're going to get off those governing boards to let you guys make your decisions about monetary policy and the direction of your economies. And that's basically the situation now. But the CFA franc remains in circulation and remains linked to the euro. It is the currency of French West Africa. About 65 miles off Dakar, that's about 100 kilometers, and thousands of feet below the ocean waves, Senegal is pumping oil and natural gas from the seafloor for use at home and for export. It's a new source of wealth, yet energy that's not yet keeping the lights on in this fast-growing economy. You see this ship that's at anchor off of Dakar? That is a Turkish-owned ship that's essentially a floating power plant. That's the liquefied natural gas. It's the fuel supply, connects to a power generating ship, and together they are generating 20% of Senegal's electricity. In short, a Turkish company is helping keep the lights on in Senegal. From energy, we shift to culture, captured in architecture here. This is the revived French colonial train station, and in surprising splashes of street art that just delight you all around the city. Dakar hosts an international arts festival every 2 years. It's become quite a big deal, and now the city has this major cultural gem that speaks to all of Africa. Vivid displays on human origins and this iconic baobab tree sculpture in the atrium as you come in really set the dramatic tone for visitors, and I especially liked these incredible masks. I mean, look at this artistry and how they are displayed, along with mini terracotta statues and carved figures. There's so many textures and forms of artistic expression on display,
and a really good selection across countries and cultures.
I said this to the Musée des Civilisations Noires, the Museum of Black Civilizations, and I know I just mangled the French on that, but it is a major new centerpiece here in Dakar, and I think it's got a great start. It needs a bigger collection, it needs a little more ambitious collection, but what I saw was really quite good, and there were some things I've never seen before, like some very ancient, probably thousands upon thousands of year old stone hand tools from Central Africa, also some amazing masks that were in there from various countries, some of the rock art, and I think overall it's a good start. I enjoyed it, worth a visit.
To get some tips on today's Senegal, I met up with popular commentator Tierno Suleiman Diop Niang.
Yeah, if you come to Senegal, first of all, you have to eat our national food, cebujan or jollof of rice. Second of all, you have to go to Saint-Louis, a very nice place to be, to visit, to live. And of course, I mean, you have to go to see maybe the wrestler, our national sport. I mean, it's three things I think people have to do it when they come to Senegal.
Hey, so this is where I'm staying in Dakar. It's in a neighborhood and in an art gallery, essentially, with a boutique hotel that's been built into it with a few rooms and all these cool spaces where you can come sit, put your laptop out, have a coffee, and really hear the sounds of the city because you're in a neighborhood, which is what I really like too. I like being able to see people going about their daily business. You hear the kids getting up in the morning, going to schools. You go visit the shops, walk to restaurants, and you're just about 20 minutes away from the Atlantic Ocean. You can walk down in the evening and see some really stunning views there. So this is how I like to travel, especially in a city like Dakar, which is so cultural and really so full of life. You want to be in the midst of that.
Wander into the old colonial core of Dakar and you get a taste of French influence in cafes and old government buildings that you see along the boulevards there. You'll even spot expatriate French families filling the cathedral on Sunday for Mass. Independent Senegal's first leader symbolizes the openness of the society and the intellectual vibe. My wonderful guide, however, turned a bit shy on camera.
And why is he important today?
Ouais, merci.
Yeah.
Merci, je suis ravi de venir visiter la maison du président Senghor. Merci beaucoup.
Merci. Et pour aujourd'hui, pourquoi il est important?
Je n'ai pas le droit de parler parce que
Ah, okay. Okay, merci beaucoup. So this is the residence of the first president of Senegal, who was Catholic in a predominantly Muslim country. That's quite a feat. He was also a great poet, Léopold Sédar Senghor. And it's like a time capsule of the 1970s. They won't let you photograph inside, but I can assure you there's amazing furnishings throughout. Bedrooms they'll take you through, bathrooms, and seating areas where who knows how many important figures he entertained and talked with, into his office, which has literally hundreds, if not thousands of books, because he was quite an intellectual. So it's worth coming to see, to get a little bit of insight into the man and to see his world at that time. As I say, it's like a trip back in time.
In Dakar, the drama of the ocean's never far away. Commanding the waves, here's one of the inspiring icons of the city. Now, if you want to catch folks surfing the waves as the sun dips, head over to the Cour des Almadies and settle in at one of the many oceanside restaurants at the very end of your journey in mainland Africa.